Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, Saka here, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. And this is 1.8, the MOAR boosters upgrade. Today we are going to look at what boosters came with the pack. We're also running Breaking Ground, so there is one special booster that came with Breaking Ground, and also some new propellers, new helicopter blades, and a new drone-style rotor that we can take a look at. We are here in our Breaking Ground save. If you haven't seen my Breaking Ground series, go ahead and check it out in the description and get caught up. But today, we're going to do something crazy. In the vehicle assembly building, we will put all of the new boosters on our very first rocket and shoot straight up and see exactly what kind of performance we can get out of it. And it's a nice way to show off all of those juicy details. So I will hop in the VAB and be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am scared, but here we go. I put those new SRBs on the side of our rocket. We have the Mite, we have the Shrimp, we have the Thoroughbred, we have the Pollux, which is the Breaking Ground exclusive SRB, and right to the inside we have the new Clydesdale. Now, if we looked at our Delta V and we look at our thrust to weight ratio, right now it's at 2.06, so this can definitely get us off the launch pad. And as we start shedding the weight of those other boosters, of course that is going to go up. I'm not having a Kerbal on board for this, and like I said, we are just going to launch straight up to see exactly how fast we can get this rocket. It should be pretty big. These guys are the ones that I'm the most afraid of, so let's just take a look and see what we've got here. All right, note to self, we're going to need some struts. As you can see, these guys haven't held up too well, so I'm going to re-strut this thing up and be right back. All right, now that we've got some moral support and actual support in the center and on the struts, Jebediah and Bill are ready to launch. We'll SAS on. We really don't need full power because we are not going to even fire this engine, although that's probably a bad thing. Now that I think about it, we're going to need some of that gimbling. So let's adjust our staging a bit, go full throttle, 3, 2, 1, to the skies. Go! There we go. So that was a little bit anticlimactic, but as this solid fuel drains off, and these guys are actually holding up fairly well. Their 40 solid rocket fuel is holding up. I don't know exactly. Okay, those guys will lose. All right, we're breaking the sound barrier very quickly. And this ain't playing around. Yeah, now that we're nice and stable, let's just cut the throttle on our main rocket and see what this solid fuel can do. Already past 8,000 meters, we are burning up. I don't know, I'll kind of drop these when I see them flame out. We do have some with solid fuel left in them, however. All right, there goes those. All right, outside, outside. Next step, continuing to burn at 1,200 meters a second, really punching through that atmosphere now. We're a fireball. And I don't exactly know when these sides are going to flame out. We could probably go straight to the moon with this. But that will be a challenge for another day. All right, so the inners lost their fuel before these guys. And down they go, and the Clydesdales will... There we go. So we got up to 100,000 meters before we detached the Clydesdale, so we got quite the kick with 3,000 meters per second. Where exactly are we in the grand scheme of things? I know we essentially, yeah, we went straight up. Our apoapse is 7 million meters. So we're going to come back down nice and easy. That might be interesting. We're going to be coming down with a lot of speed, but essentially we'll just be burning retrograde. All right, Jebediah, get ready for reentry. All right, coming back down, we are going to be hitting about 3,000 meters a second. Let's go ahead and burn with everything we've got in this engine. It's basically a full tank now that we use the power of the solid rocket boosters to get to orbit. Now, whether or not we are going to slow down enough to actually deploy our parachutes is another thing entirely, because Kerbin's pulling us in quite quickly. So I will go ahead and get down to the surface and see if we can survive enough to have these parachutes deploy. Well, we got a nice whirly gig, but then the rocket decided to buckle, and hey, it does look like indeed we may be able to survive this if we can pull out of our dive. Parachutes! You know, I think that was kind of survivable. I mean, not that. But had we separated our rocket a little bit earlier, maybe Jebediah and Bill will still be with us today. Thankfully, we have the auto load, and that was just for science. But now we'll take a look at those rotor parts. So for scale, I have here the Probodobodyne Rove Mate, and it comes with the S062 fan shroud, the S12 fan shroud, and this monster S25 fan shroud. And can you imagine a drone with propellers such as that? We also have these propellers here, and actual helicopter blades that were added. Propeller blade style, that would be good for making airplanes and, you know, P-51s, that sort of thing. Looks like these go pretty much right in there. And we also have these little guys, the ducted fan blade. So these are the blades that are specially designed to fit inside these shrouds here. I'm not that, like, skilled at building such things, but it might be fun to try to make some sort of flying drone. So I'll see what I can come up with and be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jebediah is trying out our new fan car. I'm not actually hitting the gas right now. Looking at our electric charge, we're not using any. The bad thing is this thing's got so much torque, even with that lower limit, that it just wants to continue pushing this thing around. But if we slowly increase the torque limit up, you can see that we do get up some speed. Running a torque limit of 20, we're actually doing fairly well and not on the gas at all. It's spinning at 120 RPM, so we've got a nice fan propelled, or fan propulsion car. I don't want to really get this thing up too much because it likes to really roll over whenever you go like maximum torque. It just sort of flips the whole thing over. Granted, it's not that wide and not that stable. It doesn't have a nice wide footprint. But if you wanted to make a fan-based vehicle, you certainly could. And it's not using any electric charge whatsoever. So that is saving us quite a bit. Not the best terrain to focus on, of course. But, I mean, proof of concept is there. Jebediah has a new plaything that he can torment people around the Kerbal Space Center with. And I think that's a pretty good look at these free parts in the 1.8 update. I don't know if I could... Oh, I hit my action group rather than my F2. But I don't know if these are parts that I would really use. I don't use that many SRBs, and the whole rotational robotic propulsion eludes me. I'm not an engineer by any stretch of the imagination, but I think for my first go and about 20 minutes of trial and error, it's not bad. But that will do it for me. Like, share, and subscribe if you are so bold. Thank you so much for tuning in. And for Jebediah, I will see you in the next Kerbal Space Program video. Take care.